Hey Yugishu, Dark Magician of Team Sorcerers here, and welcome back to What If Wednesday. And in this one, we're going to talk about what would happen if Decode Talker was my favourite card instead of Dark Magician. So, how much would be different? Well, I guess once it came out, I would try and make a Cyburst deck, since it seems to be the easiest way to bring out Link Freeze, or at least one of the ways I could think of. I know there was Gokis, and this is a generic Link monster, so there would be multiple ways to bring it out, but my preferred way would have been to play a Cyburst deck. I know I did actually make a Cyburst deck, of course, but that wasn't until the spring of 2018. So I would have made this like 3/4 of a year earlier, roundabout. Considering this would have been a fan favourite, and yeah, that would have been my signature deck, and this would have been the ace monster and the boss monster. And again, Dark Magician, Elemental Heroes, and Rainbow Newts would kind of take a back seat. They'd still be favourite decks of all time, but Decode Talker would be my signature monster. But I don't know how good the deck would be. I guess I'd run some other generic cards to try and make it work, but I don't know how successful I'd be in games and tournaments. But I would do whatever it takes to try and make it work, and make it my best deck, considering Elemental Heroes and Rainbow Newts were hit hard by Master Rule 4 rules. Dark Magician not so much, and again I would still pick up support for those decks over the years, but over time I would try and pick up more Cyburst cards, and still help me try and build up to Decode Talker. I would of course play Firewall Dragon as well, and maybe Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, but Decode would still be the ace of my deck, even when more Code Talkers came along, and after a while it would just quite simply be a Code Talker deck. Of course, one of my concerns would be Access Code Talker sort of taking over, and then Cyburst would just end up feeling more like Access Code Talker dot deck. And what I've noticed is that Decode Talker seems to have just taken a back seat. Hardly ever sees play anymore. I can't remember the last time I saw it in someone else's Cyburst deck, whereas yeah, this card is still in that deck to this day. Yeah, over time, while it would start out as a fun casual deck, it would evolve into one of my more stronger decks, and I'd like to think that eventually I would win at least one locals with it, or a minor league tournament, who knows. I guess I probably still would end up quitting tournaments, depending on how things go. So I guess not a lot would be different, really. although when I would make Retition format, or if I still do in this timeline, I'd still initially ban Access Code Talker, but then unban it. But yeah, I'd still try not to lean towards Access Code and would go more towards Decode Talker if I could. But yeah, I guess the only difference would be I'd focus more on the code talkers rather than make it a generic Cyberse deck. I don't think I'd be playing the likes of Clock Dragon, Quantum, or Firewall Exceed, or Cyberse Magician. I'd probably still make my Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid deck and run those cards in that instead, whereas the main Cyberse deck would be Code Talkers, and I would try and go for Decode Talker if I could. And just simply try and make that deck work. Yeah, would it win Series 7 of the Dark Magician's Deck Grand Championship? I don't know. Maybe. But I guess with Access Code Talker available, I probably would have done. But yeah, he definitely would still be the big ace during the time that Firewall Dragon was banned. And yeah, that basically sums it up. Although I guess I'd play other forms of it, like still like what was that other Decode Talker? The one that does the same thing but gets another attack. Oh, I've forgotten the name of it, but I guess I would run that plus Decode Talker Heat Soul as well, because why not? And yeah, that's pretty much what would happen if Decode Talker became my favourite and signature monster. I just build a deck specifically based on it, play generic Cyberse, then change it into Code Talkers. And yeah, the rest is history. So yeah, that's it, and thanks for watching.